Good day, class. For today's topic, we have the pest and disease in organic gardening. So, before I start the discussion, let me read the objective first. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to identify organic gardening and its principles, evaluate the effectiveness of different organic control methods based on specific pest or disease problems, and demonstrate an appreciation for sustainable gardening practices and a desire to minimize their environmental impact. So I hope these objectives can be achievable. Okay? So organic farming relies on methods which combine scientific knowledge of ecology and modern technology with traditional farming practices based on natural occurring biological processes. It is a farming system that sustains the health of soils, ecosystems, and people. The principal methods of organic farming include crop rotation, green manure and compost, mechanical cultivation, and biological pest control. Organic gardening is an approach to growing plants that emphasizes the health of soil, ecosystems, and human well-being. It is rooted in the understanding that everything in nature is interconnected and it seeks to work in harmony with these natural systems rather than against them. It plays a crucial role in promoting healthy food and disease control, contributing to a sustainable and healthier environment. This practice, facilitated by education and community involvement, not only supports individual health but also enhances ecosystems resilience. So now, let's talk about the principles of organic gardening. So number one is the soil health. Healthy soil is the foundation of organic gardening. It is alive with microorganisms, nutrients, and organic matter. Practices such as composting, mulching, and cover cropping enrich the soil, enhance its structure, and promote biodiversity. A well-balanced soil fosters healthy plants that are more resilient to pests and diseases. So next is the ecosystems. Organic gardening recognizes the importance of biodiversity. By cultivating a variety of plants and incorporating beneficial insects and wildlife, organic gardens create balanced ecosystems. This diversity helps manage pests naturally and supports pollinators, which are essential for fruit and vegetable production. Gardening promotes natural pest control methods such as companion planting and attracting beneficial insects. Rather than relying on synthetic chemicals, this approach fosters resilience in the garden and helps prevent imbalances that can lead to pest outbreaks. Next is the human well-being. Organic gardening is not just about growing food. It's also about nurturing a healthy relationship with the environment and ourselves. By choosing organic methods, gardeners contribute to the production of food that is free from harmful chemicals, promoting better health for consumers. Additionally, gardening itself can be therapeutic, providing mental and physical benefits. So, in performing pest and disease management on your organic garden, here are some tips to remember. Farmers are faced with myriads of production challenges where the most common problem are pests, which include insects, diseases, and weeds. They integrate cultural, biological, mechanical, physical, and chemical practices to manage pests. So first is the cultural practices. It rely on a strategy to make the crop or habitat unacceptable to pests by interfering with their oviposition preferences, host plant discrimination, or location by both adults and immatures. Those can be achieved with practices such as crop isolation, mixed cropping, and crop rotation. The timing of sowing and planting can be used to allow young plants to establish to a tolerant stage before an attack occurs and to reduce the susceptible period of attack. Management of trap and nursery crops and surrounding environment is also included to divert insect attack away from the crop. Next is the biological control. Biological control in organic plant protection is a method of controlling insect pests and diseases using other organisms which rely on predation, parasitism, and herbivory or some other natural mechanisms with active farmers management interaction. Natural enemies of insect pests known as biological control agents are predators, parasitoids, and pathogens. For weeds biological control, agents are seed predators, herbivores, and plant pathogens. While for plant diseases, biological agents are antagonists. In organic farming, biological agents can be imported to locations where they don't naturally occur, or farmers can make a supplemental release of natural enemies, boosting the naturally occurring population. So next is the chemical control. Organic standards are designed to allow the use of naturally occurring substances such as pyrethrin and rotenone. Farmers avoid the use of broad-spectrum synthetic pesticides which severely disrupt natural control and promote the occurrence of secondary pests such as spider mites, brown planthoppers, and rhizoctonia. There are few synthetic substances allowed in organic farming such as fixed copper hydroxide, copper oxide, copper oxychloride, copper sulfate, hydrated lime, hydrogen peroxide, lime sulfur, and potassium bicarbonate. So these are the practices used in organic pest management. So to design and implement best practices of pest management in organic farming, it is also necessary to have accurate knowledge of crop and pest biology, ecology, phenology, and of pest-crop interactions, while following strictly regulated rules of organic farming. In many countries around the world, it's regulated by an inspection, certification, and labeling scheme. Although organic farming has many regulations and restrictions, farmers still need to track their activities on fields to facilitate them record keeping and to have all in one place. AgriVee Farm management software helps farmers track organic materials, work hours, and finances spent on their farm. It also helps farmers fight with complex organic farming regulations and reports. With over 20 different reports of all farm activities from planting, protecting, maintaining to harvesting. Farmers enables to track spent amounts of organic pesticides and fertilizers per fields and crops, their finances and farm productivity, and to print it out. Everything that farmer enters into the system, it's automatically filled in reports. Pest management involves a range of practices aimed at controlling pest populations while minimizing harm to the environment, human health, and non-target species. Here are some commonly used practice. So number one is the cultural control. So for crop rotation, they alternate crops to disrupt pest life cycles. For intercropping, growing different crops in proximity to reduce pest spread. And for sanitation, keeping the garden clean to remove debris that can harbor pests. So next is the biological control. In natural predators, introducing or encouraging beneficial insects, like for example, ladybugs, predatory wasps that feed on pests. And for pathogens, using microbial agents like Bacillus thuringiensis. Next is for pathogens, using microbial agents to target specific pests. And number three, mechanical and physical control, barriers, using row covers, nets, or traps to physically prevent pests from accessing plants. And for hand picking, it is manually removing pests from plants. And for tillage, disrupting pest habitats through soil cultivation. Next is the chemical control. Organic pesticides utilizing natural substances that are less harmful to beneficial organisms. Next is the insecticidal soaps, applying soaps that suffocate soft-bodied insects. Next is the integrated pest management, or the IPM. It is for monitoring and thresholds, regularly assessing pest populations and implementing control measures only when necessary. And a combination of methods, integrating various control methods to create a sustainable pest management strategy tailored to specific situation. Next is the habitat manipulation. So enhancing biodiversity, planting a variety of crops and flowers to attract beneficial insects. Next is the water management. Properly managing irrigation to prevent conditions that favor pest infestation. So these practices, when combined effectively, can lead to a more sustainable and balanced approach to pest management in gardening and agriculture. So I hope everyone learned our discussion for today. And before I end our discussion, I have some assessment. It is a multiple choice questions, a matching activity, and a short answer questions. And lastly is a practical activity. So I hope everyone learned, and that's all. Thank you.